I have a question about U.S. national security. How is it that you guys have determined that it's in the U.S. national security interest to ask Saudi Arabia to drill more oil instead of just letting oil companies drill more here in the U.S.?
Well, I think Peter, there's some 9,000 unused drilling permits here in the United States as well. The oil production issue is a global issue, and OPEC plus 3 has already increased preset increases by more than 50% just for July and August, and we're grateful to Saudi Arabia's leadership on that. But we've never said it's a national security interest that somebody has to pump more oil. And again, there's unused permits here in the United States.
But as a national strategic issue, then how is it how much lower can we let the strategic petroleum reserves get before that becomes a problem?
I think I would refer to the president's energy advisors on something like that, Peter. I don't know what the inventory is, but I do remind, and I think this, the president did tap into the strategic oil reserves to try to relieve some of the pressure at the pump, and he'll use a range of tools available to him going forward. I think that's about the best I can do on that.
In the letter from the president to the the refiners, he said they need to work with the administration to bring about a near-term solution. Is there an or else in there from the president? Is there some way that the administration plans to try to hold these companies accountable? You use the word responsibility in your message at the top here.
We see it as a patriotic duty, as we've talked about. There's war happening right now in Ukraine that was caused by Russia, which is why we're seeing these hikes in gas prices, especially since Russia has started amassing troops on the border. We've seen a $2 increase of gas prices. So we know where to put the blame on the war, but oil companies, oil refineries, they have responsibility too. What they have been doing is taking advantage of the war, and as I showed earlier, they have tripled their income, and so this is a problem. But what we're trying to do by putting out the letter, we are saying, hey, we need you to act. It is time to act. We want to have a conversation. We want to come to a solution. There is going to be a conversation later this week, I believe, with the Energy Department, and so that's going to happen. So this is basically a bit of a, hey, we want you to act. It's time to act. We have done our part with the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the 1 million a day for the next 6 months, and so we need them to act. So that's where we are. We want to come to solutions, which is why we say we want to have that conversation, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Is there something the president's considering to compel them, or a consequence if that does not happen?
I don't have anything right now to preview as to what would come next, but what I will say is that we are calling on them to do the right thing, to be patriots here, and not to use the war as an excuse or as a reason to not put out a production, to not do the capacity that is needed out there, so that the prices can come down.
Are there other industries that you think need to step up in a patriotic fashion to try to help reduce inflation or costs for Americans?
So there's not a list that I have right now for you. Right now we want to focus on the oil refinery, which is why we put out the letter today or yesterday. I'm losing my track of time. And so we see that as an important first step in making sure that the oil refineries are doing their part, again, patriotic duty, in making sure that they're putting out capacity and they're not taking advantage of a war that is hurting the American public. And so we're going to have a conversation. We're going to get to a solution and move this forward.
The president often talks about being a capitalist, and obviously market forces drive a lot of that. So how would he find the balance between trying to encourage them to do more without looking like he is trying to move a sector of the private industry?
I mean, look, the facts are the facts, Kellyo. What we have seen is their capacity is not there, and from the chart, they are using this moment of war, where the American families are feeling the high costs with food and gas. I mean, that is not a patriotic thing to do, and the president has the right to call them out. And so he's using his perch, he's using this opportunity that he has to make sure that, he always said he's going to use every lever that he can to make sure he's delivering for the American people, and that's what he's going to try and do at this point. Thank you.